Hi there, it's Sandra, and you are listening to the podcast A Duchess Like Us. Hello, and welcome to episode 22 of A Duchess Like Us, a podcast that reports positively and fairly on Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Today, I'm joined by Nelly and Gayle, my co-hosts for this episode. So, ladies, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yes, absolutely. It's great to be back on Duchess Like Us podcast. I'm Gayle Edwards, known as Breakthrough Diva on Twitter, and I'm here to support, advocate, and applaud the Sussexes as always.
Yay!
And I'm Nelly, and tonight I am drinking Malbec because I had a curry.
Oh, lovely. I'm just drinking fizzy water at the moment, so yeah, just pour. That's all I can afford at the moment. So hello everybody, and oh my goodness, it's been such a long time since we did the last episode, and for that I've got to apologize because I have been inundated with work, and when it got really quiet I was just too exhausted to do anything. So I'm really sorry it's been such a long gap between episodes, but we're back and it's really good to be back, and so much has happened to the Sussexes since we've been away. So I'm going to quickly summarize what's happened in the last few months. So first of all, we had the hugely successful Global Citizen Vax Live concert, which raised hundreds of millions of pounds or dollars to help support the global vaccine efforts for COVID-19. Meghan became a best-selling author with her children's book, The Bench. Then she had baby Lily. Oh my goodness, that seems like ages ago.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Harry and Oprah's mental health series, The Me You Can't See. That was really good.
Which was fabulous.
It was, wasn't it? I remember going to watch one episode and ended up watching the whole six,
the whole
five,
lot,
whatever,
yeah, exactly.
in one go. That was ridiculous to me, but it was very, very good. Then we had Meghan's birthday and that campaign she did. Was it
40
by 40? Which can I say, I participated in from a business perspective and offered 40 sessions to 40 women for 40 minutes, and it was phenomenal.
Well done. Thank you very much. That was brilliant. Thank you. And then we had the New York City trip, which was fabulous. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later, in the repercussions of that trip and what happened afterwards. But for me, the reason why I suggested we do a podcast this week was because I found this week very, very interesting in terms of what's happening with the Sussexes. So on Tuesday, the 26th of October, we had the results or the outcomes of a report from Sentinel Incorporated that concluded that Meghan was, and I quote, the subject of a coordinated hate and misinformation campaign on Twitter. And today, we have also received some more information about, as I said earlier, the Sussexes' trip to New York City. So in today's episode of the podcast, we're going to discuss these events in more detail. So let's first of all start with the Bots Sentinel report on this, I'm going to call it smear and hate campaign against Meghan and Harry, of course, but mostly aimed at Meghan. So at the beginning of October, Christopher Boozy, who is the CEO of Bot Sentinel Incorporated, announced that he was going to investigate what appeared to be a coordinated hate campaign against Meghan and Harry on Twitter. On Tuesday, as I just said, they released their report where they outlined that it was a coordinated hate campaign against Meghan and Harry. Bot Sentinel analysed 114,000 tweets using the hashtags and keywords related to the Sussexes. They manually examined tweets for altered images and videos. Their analysis isolated 83 hate accounts, 55 primary accounts, and 28 secondary accounts. And combined with their 187,615 followers, they were identified as being responsible for approximately 70% of the hate content targeted at the Sussexes. Using some software tools, Bot Sentinel estimated that those hate accounts and their followers had an estimated reach of 17 million users on Twitter. And it didn't just stop at Twitter. They spread their hate to other social media apps as well. Anyway, Bot Sentinel listed the names of the 83 hate accounts and also showed the number of tweets each account sent, the number of accounts they were following, and finally, how many followers they had on their own accounts. So that was quite a mouthful, and it's quite disturbing, really, because they weren't bots as such. They weren't automated. These were individual single-use accounts that have been targeting the Sussexes. So, ladies, what do you think about that?
I love how not that I love, but you missed out one. It wasn't just to other social media platforms that this smear campaign has gone to, but it has also touched mainstream media.
Yes.
In particular, your radio shows and your traditional media, TV and newspaper, tabloids, I should say. Because we know quite a number of these accounts are followed by supposedly respected royal commentators and reporters.
I agree with that.
So you have to ask yourself the question: why are people who are supposedly journalists or people that have have some sort of skin in the game are wanting to smear royals? And
not royals. These two royals.
Exactly. Meghan in particular.
Yeah, these particular two royals, in particularly the mixed race royal. And it comes. I mean, for me, it comes. Well, we all know where my mind goes to when it where the main source of it comes to. Where who benefits from this and who we can safely say is the one that started this. It has to just follow the money. But I mean, snaps for Christopher Boozy for for doing this because no one else. I can't imagine who else would delve into that. I think the closest we came to was, remember a New York Times article a while ago by I can't remember the name of the journalist, but she was talking about how suspicious it was with regards
to the bots
with the Instagram bot at Kensington Palace. It became
Caroline something.
No, I don't think it's her. It was an American woman. I don't think her name was Caroline, but she that was the closest we got to an examination of this sort of technological warfare against smear campaign against the Sussexes. And that started, of course, it started from their wedding day. Of course, the origins are way back from when, but when you think about it, when did the hashtag Megxit came in? It was on the day of her wedding, of her marriage to Harry. That's when it started.
That's when it started. My take is slightly different, though I do agree with everything Nelly says. I also think with the Bot Sentinel report, I think what Chris has done has been amazing, and I still think there's a lot further to go. And maybe I'm just impatient. Yeah, maybe I'm just impatient because it's been 5 long years. And if I feel like this, imagine how Meghan and Harry feel. And I do, yeah. So I think there's still a way to go. Not necessarily that Chris is the one to have to do it, but I think in terms of really getting to the bottom of this and people saying follow the money and who's behind it, well, there's still a long way to go. There's a lot more investigation to do. But also, what we have to remember is that this campaign not only started, but it has been allowed to be perpetuated and to grow several different heads now over a period of time because it has been sanctioned. Because I'm very well aware of how PR and communications in this industry works. However, and because of that awareness, I know that this is sanctioned. So I'm not pointing any fingers per se, so I don't have to use the word allegedly, right? I can say this has been sanctioned because when you have a coordinated event where you've got the press, you've got the media, people on TV, literally talking about this 24/7, when you have an alleged, suspected and accused sex offender in the palace. I mean, what world are we living in where we have someone like that who is under such heavy accusation and potential, huge magnifying glass, and it barely makes a peep. But a woman reads a book that she's written, and there's absolute uproar and outrage. I mean, where is our moral compass gone? And it's all, we know it's rubbish because also you've got right now the hot talking points are climate change and green, and we've got William Charles has been championing climate change, the climate crisis for many, many years now. We've got William joining the fight. The one thing they've always had against Harry is, oh, he's woke and, he's telling us what to do. But now we've got William doing exactly the same thing. But not only have we got him doing the same thing, but he's not actually doing anything. We've got a real crisis here in the UK at the moment where we have got raw sewage coursing through our rivers, ponds and lakes and our oceans. Raw sewage affecting wildlife. It's making people sick, all because of Brexit. And you've got the two climate change champions, right, of the royal family, this so-called privileged family that's supposed to be so much better than us, not saying a word. The media aren't saying a word, but they're focusing on whether or not Meghan is wearing Diana's watch. I mean, it just beggars belief. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Can I just add? I just want to jump in there. With this report, right? What I noticed was the only paper in the UK that picked it up was The Guardian. I checked through all the other papers, not a peep. Exactly. I did a Google search today to see if I could find any more talk about it, and the only thing that came up was The Guardian yesterday and information about Meghan from May and March or whatever it is. But no one's talking about it. No one's talking about this report and how it's basically confirmed what we've always said. There is a coordinated smear campaign against Meghan and Harry, particularly Meghan. And it's now proven to be there are 83 hate accounts that are coordinating this against her, putting out misinformation and putting out hate against her. And none of the papers are picking it up apart from The Guardian. And even then, I'm going to say this, I know I'm going to get a stick for it, but they then tried to say, well, at the end of it, it was something like, Meghan gets some hate, but so does the Duchess of Cambridge.
Fuck right off. That is what I will say to that.
Friggin' world does that happen? And that's what got me, because it was a good read until the very end, and they had to throw her in there. They had to throw her name in there. I was like, when does she get hate? When? Who?
Let me tell you something, right? What you have to remember with Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge, let's give her dues, right? Kate has been in and around this family for 20 years. I don't want to say anything disparaging about her, but we all know our limits. We all stay in our lane. And they are trying to put Kate in a lane to which she doesn't belong. right?
True.
It's the lane. It's a lane they would have liked her to have been in before. They kind of accepted, okay, well, look, let's just go along with what we've got. You know, she's produced some kids. Let's just leave her be. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they call her weighty. They called her weighty Katie. Yes, they called her Duchess Doolittle, and they called her lazy. You know, that's not hate. That's statement of fact.
That's just being mean. It's just being mean.
It's mean, and it's a bit rude as well. But as Meghan herself said, rude and racist are not the same thing.
Exactly.
Right? It's not the same. Even rude and bullying are not the same. It's not the same as cyber harassment. It's not the same. I'm not saying that there hasn't been things written about Kate, but I just want someone to show me where the countless accounts that have been set up specifically to target Kate and her children. Where are the accounts there that are talking about Kate being a narcissist, a whore, this, that? I mean, where are those?
Exactly.
You know, of her.
There are none.
Her, exactly. Where are the accusing her of wanting to kill the royal family or wanting to kill women? Where are those? Because these are all things that Meghan has been accused of and continues to be accused of. Every time Kate does something, all we get is glowing reports about her hair and her clothes. Now, as a woman, especially in these days of gender parity or whatever, I think that's really demeaning. I think it's but that is all there is. They can't report on anything more because there isn't anything more. Then you get this bright light come in that shines up and shows up everybody and everything. Right? Not only if you want to bring her down to the level of Kate and talk about her hair and her clothes and her beauty, she knocks Kate socks off Kate. She knocks the socks off Kate. But that's not what Meghan is really about. She's a woman who is a humanitarian. She's a woman of substance, and she knows how to make a real impact. And that's the thing. When you put Kate up against that, she crumbles. So what the press or the royal family, let's say, because that's where it's certainly stemmed from, to protect their own lineage, right? They had to denigrate Meghan. Their miscalculation, however, was that they thought that in denigrating her and undermining her, was that she would crumble and that she would get back in line, know her place. But that's not what she comes from. She comes from resilience and courage and strength, as we can say. I can tell you now, as a middle-aged woman, I've been through a lot, I've done a lot, I've seen a lot, and I can tell you now, I hold my hand up. I doubt very much that I would have been able to cope with a fraction of what she's been under. I doubt it.
Oh yeah, I agree, 100%. Yeah, but I just think that the problem with the royal family was, instead of denigrating Meghan, they should have raised the bar and tried to meet her level.
As the young people would say, they should have stepped their pussy up. But they couldn't step their pussy up. So there you go. They had to denigrate her, and hope that, and like Gayle said, in the hopes that she would crumble. But she didn't crumble, and what burns them even more is the fact that her husband stood by her.
Exactly, but he is her husband, isn't it? That's what he's supposed to do.
Exactly, exactly. He's her husband. He's her husband. The other thing as well, how could they level up? They couldn't. They can't level up because that was not a level that they even knew. You know, their idea of doing the most. Remember, before Meghan came along, when Harry and William and Kate were working together, Heads Together was heralded as this big, huge, impactful project. But they weren't really doing anything, apart from Harry, who was obviously doing his stuff behind the scenes, as we now know. All they did was lend their name to it and did a few PR photos. You know, they didn't know about really getting in there, getting your hands dirty. Do you know, the things that offend me, I tell you what offends me, is when people try to insult my intelligence. You know, I'm old enough to remember Diana. I remember the day Diana got engaged, much less her wedding and what happened after that. I was there. I witnessed all of that. And now here I am, having witnessed Kate and William's journey as well, from the boys from they were little, Kate and William's journey, knowing everything that's gone on, also not just as a lay person, but also from being in the corridors of, certain publications where these things are being talked about quite openly. So knowing their journey quite intimately, and now they want to insult me. They want to insult me and tell me that Kate is a hard worker, that she's going to save the monarchy, that she can walk around with a flipping empty folder. I'm not buying that. Because Kate didn't even know where the folders were until Meghan came on the scene. She had no idea.
I think I think the problem with them is that the problem in the UK is we have a complicit media, and people, the education system has been dumbed down for the last 40 years. So people believe what's put in front of them. And at the moment, the media are in cahoots. So I love that word, cahoots, in cahoots with the royal family. And so this is the propaganda that's been popped out. But people who actually are critical thinkers and can think for themselves and can see what's going on don't believe the shit. And I'm telling you, the younger generation, the ones who are the millennials and the generation below them, I don't know what they're called, whatever they are, they're not fond of the royal family, and they can see for their own eyes that the torture, the torment that was poured on Meghan was racist. Whether they're black, whether they're white, whether they're pink or they're blue.
Absolutely.
Younger kids can see it. They can see it.
These Gen Zs.
Stupid. Look, that's it, Gen Z, sorry.
Yeah. These Gen Zs, right? You only have to go on TikTok and see the stuff that they are aware of, that they're talking about, that they're that they're promoting. They are not fooled by this rubbish.
Exactly.
Most of them don't care about the monarchy anyway.
Yeah.
But what they do care about is injustice. They care about humanity. They care about the climate. They're the ones who are now choosing jobs, not just because a job is, a good job and pays the right money. They want to know what are you doing? What's your corporate social responsibility? How are you making the world a better place for other people? They're the kind of questions that they're asking now when they start thinking about what they're going to be contributing to the world. And so if you've got that coming up against this smear campaign that we now know to be very well coordinated, a network of these individuals, then they're not having that. They're not having it. They're going to call it out. And they've started to call it out. And, they're very focused as well, which I love because I see this with my daughter. They're very focused on protecting their mental health.
Absolutely, yeah. When you think about it, they've just been through. I mean, we've all been through 18 months of hell, but it's particularly got to them because their life has been more or less ruined.
Really, I mean, if you think my daughter's 19, right? She didn't get to do her A-levels because that was pandemic. She went through her first year at uni, basically, tied to her computer. So there was no real freshers week and all this stuff, the social aspect of going to uni and meeting different people from different places and spaces. There was none of that. And now she's back in her second year and now trying to navigate what she should have been navigating last year.
Exactly. But I mean, as we said before we came on, things are not looking good here in the UK in terms of the infection rates and stuff like that. And I've got a horrible feeling we will go back into lockdown. I've just got this horrible, horrible feeling because it's out of control again. And we've got a government that are basically trying to wish away a pandemic, and that's not how it goes. We've got no restrictions. We've got, they've taken away all controls to try and control it, and it's out of control again. And, our media, as I said, is complicit. They're not saying what's really happening. I don't know if people know this, but we have food shortages in the UK. Can you believe it? In the 21st century, we have food shortages.
and proper empty shelves, you know, and it's oh gosh, no,
it's unbelievable. You can go into a supermarket and you look around and it looks like it's full. When you look closely, they've pulled everything to the front, and you could have a whole aisle of what do you call it, crisps and biscuits that shouldn't be there. And you go to the fruit and veg, and it's like a whole row of bananas, and you're like, well, where's the apples, and where's the grapes, and where's this, and where's that?
But have you not noticed what they started doing? I noticed it in Tesco's and Sainsbury's. They've got these printed printed boards,
cardboard boxes.
The cardboard boxes. So they're printed. So it looks like they're printed in the fruit or the vegetable or the product.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're on the shelf, but it's actually cardboard. I mean, that's the sort of thing we used to do when we played shops as children.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. This is the UK in the 2021. We've got food shortages. What the fuck is going on? Well, we know what's going on. It's Brexit and our clown of a clown of a prime minister and the circus that he, conducts with his ministers and all the rest of it. But it's just unbelievable.
What's awful is that you look around in our society now, and this is why, quite frankly, I hope Meghan never comes back to this country. I hope she never steps foot on these shores again. And as for her children, let them just make that decision when they're older. But I really hope they never come back, because what we have here is a government that's complicit, a royal family who don't know their arse from their elbow, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And we've also got a media who's willing to do anything to prop them up. And then we've got then we'll call them British citizens, or British nationalists, let's call them, that's what they are, nationalists who will do anything to push for sovereignty at the cost of anything else. So all human kindness, compassion, consideration, and just even socialist, even socialist at its basic, socialism at its basic level, it's all gone. They don't care. It's, well, what's in it for me? They don't know. No, nobody cares. So imagine, and this has been the unfortunate thing with Meghan, is that Meghan came to the UK, or she became known to the UK at the same time as Brexit 2016. Mm-hmm. So she never really stood a chance, to be fair.
Yeah.
And she never saw what it was. She never saw what it was, because it never used to be like this. It never used to be like this. She never saw like when we had the London Olympics and how London was amazing. It was the best place to be. Everyone was talking. Everybody was like family. It was wonderful.
It was beautiful. Honestly, 2012, the Olympics were the most amazing time to be in London. It really was. And she didn't see that. And we were a community. And you just think, I remember even in 2005, when we got in July 2005, when it was announced that we'd won the bid, from then right down to 2012, we were on a high. 2012 came in, it was beautiful. I even remember when the Queen did that stint. Remember the James Bond stint?
And we all,
to be honest, we all loved it. Let's be honest.
We loved it, man.
We loved it. We loved it. So to go from that to where we are now, where quite frankly, I get upset if anyone calls me a royalist. Most people know I'm a big supporter of the Sussexes, but to those that aren't as close to it as me, they'll say, "Oh yeah, you love the royals." No, I don't. Let me make it very clear. I do not love the royals. I support Harry and Meghan. I couldn't give a flying fig about the rest of them, quite frankly. I'm not interested. I don't even look at what they're doing, to be fair.
No, exactly. That's they're not interesting.
That's the behaviour is right. That's the behaviour of a normal person, and that's why I don't get these haters that have now been identified from Sentinel. I don't get it. If you don't like someone, why are you on their social media? Why are you in there? Why are they even your profile picture? Even why? It just doesn't make sense. You're literally following. Some of these people know more about Meghan and Harry than we do.
I know. But that's basically stalkerish behaviour, isn't it? That's not normal.
It's not normal. It is stalker behaviour. I just want to just piggyback to the with regards to how the Guardian is um the only newspaper in the UK that has picked up the bot Sentinel report, and even in that report they got something very basic wrong. They said that bot Sentinel reportedly found no evidence of widespread coordination of the use of multiple accounts by single people or other platform manipulation tactics. That's not true. Bot Sentinel didn't say that. Twitter said that. You know, so I need and I need Twitter, not Twitter. I need the Guardian to do the fucking the most basic thing and get your facts right.
But I've got to give props, even though they got that wrong, I've got to give props to them because they had it on the front page of the on the internet version of it. It was like a proper full-on headline on the page, and as the day went on it still stayed on the front page. We went down slowly, but it was on there properly for a full 24 hours. And as for the other papers, not a hint. It just like it never existed. But going back to the bot Sentinel report, Christopher Boozy said that when he announced the he's going to investigate it, they all came for him. They started doxing him. That was ridiculous.
Not only did they dox him, Sandra, they didn't just dox him. It's the stuff that they came out with. You know, they started to basically use fake photos of his child. They talked about his mum who's dead. They delved into his background. And as we know, look, I've been in business on my own now for over 20 years. And I can tell you, especially in the States, the mark of a business person in the state of a true entrepreneur is how many times they've gone bankrupt from. But because they seem to like that. You know, that shows resilience. And even stuff like that they've been delving into, and all kinds of stuff they've been finding and faking, and it's just it and you just think, what kind of person do you have to be? What kind to do all of that? What kind of person do you have to be to really delve into someone's past to the point where you want to damage them, hurt them, and even put them at risk?
Yeah, but
there's some mad people. There's mad people in this world.
But my question is, what are they afraid of? That you have to do that to somebody, to delve in and try to intimidate them. What are you afraid of them finding?
What are you afraid of?
Yeah,
that's the question I'm posing. I'm thinking about. But I'm glad he exposed them. I'm glad he
and he dropped them. He was giving the IPs and the handles and everything. It was everything. I was here for that.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm really, really pleased that he's done it. I'm really pleased he exposed it. And I'm, like you said before, I hope they investigate further, because we weren't lying for the last 5 years. We've been saying this. We've been saying this. And no, they're all mad. Yeah, well, now we've got evidence. Now we've got proof. Yeah.
Well,
so what you can do with it?
We were not the only people that were saying it. Meghan literally said it in that podcast she did with Teenage Therapy, when she said in 2019
she was the most trolled
person.
Yes,
you know, where you remember that she was not even, you didn't see her half the time.
She wasn't even visible because she was on maternity.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you, Christopher. That was a brilliant job. Well done. And I hope people keep digging because it needs to be exposed. All right. So that was a nice conversation about that report. I think it was well needed. We're going to go on to the second point now, which is the New York City trip and the fact that some more information has been revealed. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah.
But Gayle, you know more about it because I've been out of the loop in this one. So do you want to explain what's happened and what's going on?
Absolutely. So as we know, last month, September, Harry and Meghan took a trip to New York City, where they were part of the again, pushing their global vaccine agenda, but also, whilst they were there, they were reaching out to various grassroots projects and organisations as well. You know, Meghan did the reading at school, and they went to Melba's in Harlem, which is a soul food restaurant. There's been quite a bit made in the press about Harry really liking, the chicken and waffles. Great. Good luck to it. Good luck to him. But what was really quite interesting to me was that at the time, they made a pledge. They pledged a donation to Melba's of $25,000. And of course, the haters were out in full force about, they're never going to do that. This is all about them trying to get money from people for their charity, blah, blah, crap. And of course, today it was announced on US networks that not only did the donation come in, but Melba herself chose to share that donation amongst all the staff, because why they went to Melba's was quite instrumental in feeding the frontline staff during the pandemic. Because as we know, New York was hit pretty bad. Yeah. And they were quite instrumental in feeding them. And, so they got the 25K. Melba shared it amongst her staff. They all got an equal share, which was amazing. But what was really fascinating to me, and this is why I wanted us to expose this, actually, to put this to bed once and for all, is a lot of the haters have been going on to various timelines that have been reporting about this to say that it's not their money, it's not Harry and Meghan's money to donate, and that they have stolen, that's the word that they use, money from the Sussex squad.
What?
Yeah, that they've stolen money from the Sussex squad because it's all the donations that we have made to Archwell. So here's my thing. Number one, anyone with half a brain can go onto archwell.com and look for that donation button. It's not there. You're not going to find it. It's never been there. That is not how Archwell operates. We've never, ever donated to Archwell. We've donated to many, many charities and causes over the years, but we've never donated to Archwell.
Exactly.
And Archwell do not ask for donations. They've never asked for donations. Harry and Meghan are not on record anywhere of ever asking for donations. So again, where does this lie, because let's call it what it is a lie. Yeah. Where does this lie come from, and why is it perpetuated? That's my thing. I actually read someone say today on Twitter that how Harry and Meghan only donate 5%, but William and Kate donate 100%. I can tell you now, at my grand old age, William and Kate have never donated a penny of their money. The money that they got for their Royal Foundation actually came from the government, and they passed it on. They were literally just the middleman. It was not their money. It came from the government during the pandemic.
And this is what I mean about a complicit media. It never get exposed. They will perpetuate lies rather than tell the truth. Oh my days, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then, as I said,
but isn't that what Meghan said even in the interview? And this is why when people say, but she lied, show me the lie. Because she said in the interview, when Oprah interviewed them, she said they were willing to lie to protect other members of the family, but they weren't willing to tell the truth to protect her and Harry. That's what she said.
There's no lie there, is there?
Where is the lie? Where is the lie? And what you find, and this is one of the things I really want to draw attention, to our listeners, is that when you're reading these things, look between the lines, look for the stuff that's not being said. Okay, because the story is in as much as what's not being said as what is being said. It's exactly the same thing about Meghan dripping in jewels while she reads to her reading of the book for Brightly. Number one, the woman is on record as saying way back in 2015, right, that she was buying this watch for herself, right, so that she could leave it for when she has a daughter one day. But yet still they're vexed because she's got the watch, and now she's got Diana's watch. And what? And what?
They didn't take Do you know what gets me more than anything is, right? She ain't on a sovereign grant. She's not on a sovereign grant.
She's not
taking a penny from the British taxpayers. It's her own money. It's her own money.
Let's call it for what.
Money. Remember, she had money before she came.
Yes,
exactly. Like she was a multi-millionaire.
She's not Kate. She's not Kate who turned up with her parents.
Her parents' money.
Her parents' money. It wasn't her money. It's her parents' money. And if she leaves now, she's leaving with William's money. Kate never had nothing, right? She never had anything. Meghan came with her own money. Let's be clear about that.
And that's what's killing them again. That's another thing that's burning them, because she has come with her own money. She was financially independent. She didn't need the royal family. That's what they can't get into their head.
Yeah, and let's just call it for what it is. Y'all don't like seeing a black woman doing well. You hate to see it. You fucking hate. They hate to see it. They it's the same thing what they did to, Michelle Obama. It's the same thing that they've done with any black, any black, especially like a UK black celebrity that's done well for themselves, and an American one. They go in them like that, and it hurts. It really hurts me. And they'll say it's not racist. It fucking is racist, because you would never do that to Kate. You would never do that to the other royals.
It's true.
You don't do that. I mean, the Queen lives in a 700-room palace. Does she need all of that space?
No.
And look,
does anybody?
Does anyone need? No, she doesn't. She doesn't. And on top of it's not. And obviously, she doesn't just have Buckingham Palace. She has Windsor Castle. That place has 1,000 rooms. Does she need all that space? And yes, we know that she's not the only person that lives there. We know that her servants and underlings live there and shit. But seriously, does someone need all of that? Does one family need all of that flipping space? Does one woman need all of that? But here you are having a heart attack and clutching your pearls because a woman can afford a £55,000 watch, which she bought with her own money and not with the flipping taxpayers.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Get out of
here. I hear you. But it's, as you said, they don't like us to have nice things.
Yeah, we're not allowed to have nice things. We're supposed to be grateful. This is the thing. They wanted Meghan to be grateful to be.
And that's the thing. She wasn't. She wasn't grateful enough.
Yeah,
it's true. She wasn't grateful enough.
No.
They wanted her. They wanted her to beg and bow and and try to make herself into more, being more like them. Meghan was like, hell no. I don't blame her. She's like, I don't need this shit.
No.
So. She's like, I don't need this shit. You know what? I'm gone. I'm done.
And I'm going to take my husband with me.
But not only that, the nice thing about that was that he was the one that said, no more.
Yeah.
No more. And that's a man that genuinely loves his wife. That he took control. He said no more.
And we also forgot to mention the fact that Time magazine called them the two most influential people in the world. Well, Meghan B, and they are. They are influential. No one cannot tell me nothing about their influence. I mean, look at Kate, right? I mean, like the influence on the royal family. Kate all of a sudden has to start, speaking with words and with her hands, and start dressing like a normal, and start dressing like a woman from the 21st century.
To be fair, right, I'm not a Kate Middleton fan. I don't pay her any mind whatsoever. I have my only respect, if I want to call it that, for Kate is that she's a woman, right? And that's it. It goes no further than that, to be fair. And I think it's very sad that Kate and the Queen, to be fair, are women of the 21st century who have had no impact. Okay, the Queen will get away with the fact that she's the longest reigning monarch. Great, but what has she done for the progression of women?
Not a goddamn thing.
Nothing. What? And as a young woman of the generation that's brought us Facebook and other things, what has Kate done?
Not a thing.
Nothing.
Just
nothing.
Three more heirs.
Nothing at all. Nothing.
They just are. They need to raise the bar. They are. I'm going to say they are a ridiculous family, and they are desperate for the attention of the younger generation. But the younger generation are just saying, nah, we're not interested. Not interested. They need to change their ways. They need to change their ways. They need to start doing things that are relevant to young people. Because you've got, I don't mean to diss these people. You've got the Duke of, Kent and Gloucester and all them people who are like 97 years old or whatever it is. Their time is done.
Yeah.
They're off a different generation. And they need to, the new generation that's coming through are just, they haven't got a clue. Yes, they went to university, but they haven't got a clue.
They're putting their hopes on. They are putting their hopes on people like Lady Louise, Edward's daughter, right? I can't even say Eugenie and Beatrice, but they're being pushed forward. Hey, and the thing is they've left it too late. You know, we already know that they're disengaged. We already know.
Yes.
It's too late. You know, you can't tell us any different now. We already know that Kate hasn't got a clue. We've seen it for the past 20 years. If Kate had a clue, we would have seen more evidence of her having a clue, unfortunately. If William had a clue, do you know, you can say what you like about Charles, right? But by the time Charles was William's age, Charles was already an heir in waiting, as we know, for a long time. But by the time he was William's age, he had already started the Prince of Wales, Prince's Trust.
Yeah.
Right, he had already started Prince's Trust. He was already on his climate bandwagon. He had causes, he had purpose. He found himself a purpose whilst he's waiting, right? What has William, seriously, aside from jumping on the bandwagon of climate and mental health in the last few years, what is William known as? Harry started Sentinel when he was 19. He was 19. Right? That's when he started Sentinel. He started Invictus and the Endeavour Fund. Right? He's been working diligently behind the scenes with African parks and all this stuff. What can we honestly say, aside from the recent bandwagons where they're trying to one up Harry and Meghan?
But they can't.
It's ridiculous. So,
but that's the problem.
What have they really done? What are they known for?
Nothing.
I'm
going to go back to what you said. That's the problem. They're trying to compete with Meghan and Harry, and you can't compete with them. They need to find their own path, their own road, their own little niche. They can't compete with Meghan and Harry. They just can't. And it's not because they can't. It's because they're not talented enough. They have no charisma. They have nothing that can actually match Meghan and Harry. They need to find their own little thing and do it and stop copying people. But, that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts.
No, but I absolutely agree. They haven't got enough substance on their own. And this is why they're copying. I cringed when I saw the photos of, or the video of of Kate touching someone's arm.
Was that awkward?
Oh my God. No,
was that awkward? Oh, it's embarrassing.
Oh, how embarrassing.
No, but what I'm still like laughing my ass off is the fact that even though I've not watched it, but that last Harry and Meghan film that Lifetime did, and apparently there was you have seen the thingy, the
yes and this is the thing.
Is that? Oh my God!
And the funniest thing is that Robert Lacey's daughter was one of the script writers or one of the scenarios on that film, and it's like, well, did he leave his notes hanging around? So, what happened there? But how bizarre was that? It was to the letter. I mean, how embarrassing. And all this stuff, I did literally just before I came on, I saw an article saying Harry's urged to come back to the UK in light of Queen's health woes. Really? Harry don't need to come back. Anyway, William and Kate are on holiday. Charles has jetted off somewhere. Andrew's up underneath her petticoat. And Edward and Edward is coming. Edward and Sophie coming like the Scarlet Pimpernel because no one else see them.
But it's so true.
Yeah,
but it's so true. But Harry, who lives how many thousands of miles, must come back because she's got no other children or grandchildren. It's ridiculous. And it just shows them up even more because really and truly, this is the time now where William and Kate should really be able to step right up and step into that gap and hold that space, quite frankly, whilst the Queen is, winding down. Charles is preparing to be king. This is where William and Kate would really, if they had anything about them, of course, would really shine, but they've got nothing about them. They don't know.
They're just not up to it. They just, they're quite pathetic, really. I'm sorry, I've got to say it like it is. And they just need to fix up, as the kids would say, fix up big time, because they are looking really, really sad and sorrowful now.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But going back to the New York trip, and obviously with the Melba, obviously there was the Melba's restaurant donation. Also, Meghan read her, the bench at a school, and then obviously we got the bench video, her reading the bench, and God, I love her voice. Jesus, friend, listen.
It's the Spanish. It's the Spanish for me. When she read it in Spanish, oh my gosh.
Listen, I am a straight woman. I think I kind of went gay for Meghan for about a good 5 seconds when I heard that Spanish. It was hot. I mean, good God, that woman is such a talent. And we knew that she could speak Spanish. We've seen the clip from Suits with her and Louis, and she also one of her engagements as a royal, she went to that old actor's
that's right,
retirement home.
Yeah,
she spoke
that's up the road from where I live.
Yeah, she spoke to a retired actor who's originally from Spain. And they spoke Spanish together, and the woman said, "Oh, she speaks perfect Spanish, perfect Castilian Spanish," and I'm sorry because I'm just remembering this. It was a very stupid question asked by that stupid woman, Rhiannon Mills. But anyways, we know she could speak Spanish, and it was so lovely to hear her. And she has the most amazing voice. She's the most amazing voice for audio. I need them to drop some podcasts because...
Oh, yeah, we want the podcast.
Drop some
I forgot about that.
Yeah, we want the podcast. We need a podcast. Absolutely, because but I think they both speak extremely, extremely well. Yeah. At least we can understand what they're saying.
Yes.
I know.
But yeah, she read, she read that book, and it's done, it's had, how many views? I think it's up to, last I checked, it was 221,000.
I think it's gone past that now.
Has it now? Yeah. Well, that's amazing. We're not going to talk about the likes and dislikes. That's another story. But I think it's all linked to what we've been talking about earlier about bots and things, because but no, that she looked great. She looked casual. She looked so relaxed with that, and it's again just the bench did as well as it did, being a New York Times bestseller. And I'm glad she was able to give us a lovely reading.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I loved. Do you know what I loved about the Brightly video was I loved the way, because you could see she was talking to little people, and her tone was just, it was lovely. And I know. It was just so sweet. And I just thought, the other one couldn't even dream of doing that. So
oh no.
So anyway, I just thought, good on her. She's done a good job, and I'm glad they're doing their stuff in America, and I'm glad they're doing it out there, because you get credit where credit's due out there,
Yeah.
But this lot over here, they're they're just haters. They're just jealous, and that's what it's. This is what it all comes down to at the end of the day. They're jealous as fuck. They can't get over it that she's so good. They're both so good, and they realize what they've lost now. What's that song? You never know what you've got till it's gone.
Till it's gone. But not only that, it's true. You never know what you've got till it's gone. But not only that, you have to remember that as a country, and this is what I say about Meghan's timing. She came in at a time where Britain was trying to regain its sovereignty.
We've never lost our sovereignty.
Exactly. We'd never lost it. But also this whole nationalist agenda, read fascist for that actually.
It's fascist, yeah.
Of course it is. Right. This whole agenda that's going on here in the UK at the moment does not allow for success. It doesn't, we seriously suffer from tall poppy syndrome. Don't like tall poppy, it's got to come down. And Meghan being American as well, hell no. Because she outshines us. But what you have to remember as well is that Britain in general, and this really pains me to say this, I think about all my life I've lived here. I was born here. I've lived here my entire life, apart from, a 12, 24-month period where I was abroad. But I've lived here my entire life. I've always loved being a Brit. I've been very proud of being a Brit. I love London. But these past 4 or 5 years since Brexit vote, I'm so upset at what I see happening before my very eyes. And Meghan has just highlighted that, because we are suffering from, I was going to say small dick syndrome, because it is the same thing.
No, it is small dick syndrome. That's what I would fucking call it. Good Lord.
Because it is exactly the same thing. We have delusions of grandeur. We seem to have forgotten that the empire is no more. Colonialism is no more.
But we've got these Etonian...
It's all past glories.
Yeah, and they're harking back to a time where it wasn't actually that good anyway. You know what I mean? And why are you looking to the past when you should be looking to the future?
It was good for a certain set of people. It was good for the ruling class because they could look because they had people to look down upon. The ruling classes now can't look down on many people because they're not even on a level anymore.
They still do. They still think they're better than everybody else.
Well, they can think that, but they're not. We know
they're not, but they like to think they are. There's difference between it, and at the moment they have the power to think they are. Yeah. So it's just very sad. I think that this country is, like you said, in the space of 5 years, it's gone to the dogs.
Yeah,
it really has. In 5 years, I've never seen anything like it. And my mum said to me, "You always know when a Tory government is in power because things get worse. It gets incredibly bad. And it becomes really racist."
Really
yeah.
And you have to remember, people need an outlet. They need an outlet, and you, rather than turn against themselves and realize, well, hold on, maybe I made a mistake. I shouldn't have voted for that crap in the first place. It's easier to turn against each other. And the ones that turn against are the ones that are different. The ones that are different to yourself. It's so much easier to do that. And it's a real testimony that we've got this hate raging around. I can't even have conversations with my own family where anything about Meghan or the royal family comes up, because the moment it comes up, I have to get up and walk away because I know it's going to get heated. And that's with members of my own family, because they read the press, they believe the press, they hear what the narrative is, and they believe it. And the same way how we challenge on Twitter, if we get a hater on Twitter, we'll always challenge them and ask them for evidence. Well, okay, well, what has she done? And they can never come back.
Yeah.
There's never an answer. And that's exactly the same when I speak to members of my family, and I say, well, okay, fair enough, you don't like her, you don't have to like her. Just as a matter of interest, why not? What has she done? Nothing. There is nothing No one can give any evidence. The only thing I heard about a year or so ago, oh, well, she wore black nail varnish. So because of that, she should be hung, drawn, and quartered.
Do not tell me that a black woman said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is because they believe what they read.
They believe what they read.
It's ridiculous. And this is our education system. We have taken away critical thinking out of the curriculum, and so we've produced, two generations of people who don't think for themselves. There's no critical thinking. It's really, really sad. And as a result, this is how they can get things like Brexit through, because nobody really understands the EU.
No one does.
The positivity
no one
of it.
Understood it. I remember after the Brexit vote had gone through, there were quite a few news stations doing news programs, doing interviews with people asking what they voted for. And I can remember there was one woman in particular, two women I remember. One of them was, well, now we can have our fish and chips in newspaper.
Remember? These people, honestly.
And I thought, you voted for Brexit so you can have your fish and chips in newspaper, you idiot. And then another one, she was like, oh yeah, I'm glad we're out now. It's going to be so good. We're going to be able to be in control of all of our laws. We've got no one telling us what to do. So then the presenter, the newsreader, started to ask her some questions about, just to check her understanding, and also gave her some facts around her understanding. And her face just fell. She goes, oh, I didn't even realise that's what Brexit was. But she voted to leave.
Yeah.
Imagine that's the level of stupidity that we are dealing with.
And again, as you said, rather than admit they were wrong, they're doubling down on their shit. That's the worst thing about it. And you, like your family with Meghan, I can't have conversations about Brexit with my family because I'm like, but we've got shortages because of Brexit. No. It's because of the there's no lorry drivers. Yeah, because of Brexit. but it's a pandemic. There's no pandemic, mate. There's no drivers. We can't. This is the. Do you know what? This Brexit is the only trade agreement where they have put up barriers. You have free trade agreements to remove the barriers, and these jokers have put the barriers up. What can you do?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Imagine that. Idiots.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. But there you go. Anyway, oh my God, that was a quick hour. Bloody hell. That wasn't supposed to be that long. Okay, so that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to Gayle and Nelly for joining me. I hope you've had as much fun as I have and enjoyed it as much as I have. Don't forget to send in questions and or topics that you'd like to have discussed on future episodes. If you'd like to be a guest panelist on the podcast, please reach out to me at hello@aduchesslikeus.com on email or DM me at DuchessUs on Twitter. If you like what you've heard today, please hit the like button and subscribe to the podcast. Also, please share this episode with anyone else you think would be interested in listening to this. If you have time, I'd be grateful if you could leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, as it helps the podcast be seen by more people. I really hope that you've enjoyed this episode and that you'll come back for more. So I'll see you next time. Bye.
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 Let me stop recording. It's ridiculous.